Yo, what up? It's Piqi Mickey with Footshop, and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 ugliest sneakers of all time. It's a great day because usually I'm up here promoting shit, and today I get to hate. Woohoo! Yes, so I'm ready. I hope you're ready. Before we start, let's agree that every brand has good designs and bad designs. Today we're going to be focusing on the bad ones. Number one on the list is the Adidas Kobe 2. Now, back when Y2K hit, if you guys don't know that Y2K is the year 2000, what better way to start off the new millennium with a futuristic shoe? Adidas gave it a shot when they introduced the Kobe 2, but failed incredibly when fans decided not to buy it and Kobe decided not to wear it. However, if you put some bread in the shoe and plug it into the wall, you'll make a great toast. And if your pants are wrinkly, you can probably get rid of those wrinkles by plugging it into the wall, getting an iron board, and just smashing those jeans with it. This is a perfect example of when a brand tries to be too futuristic and fails. So, word to the wise, just keep it simple and don't try to go into the year 3000 yet. We'll get there. But who knows? Maybe in 100 years, these shoes are gonna be cool and they'll be the norm. Time will tell. Let's move on to the next on our list, number two. Number two on our list comes from the one and only Jeremy Scott, who is the creative director at Moschino. And he's creative most times, but sometimes his creations aren't for everyone. And this creation here is for no one. As a part of an extensive collaboration with Adidas Originals, Jeremy Scott took a huge dump on the sneaker game in 2012 when he introduced the Mega Soft Cell Cowboy boots. Judging by the name, you can tell that it's already going to be a piece of crap because the words mega, soft, and boy should never be put together in the same sentence, in my opinion. But Jeremy Scott, you know, he flows a little differently. The top of the shoe is inspired by a cowboy boot, as you can see, and the bottom is kind of like a running or trainer sneaker. Basically, both do not match together and should never be combined. Cowboys and runners have nothing to do with each other at all, and I'm sorry, Jeremy Scott, but you gotta put that one back in the vault. But if you're a cowboy out there looking for some drip, there you have it. Number three on our list is one of my least favorites. It comes from Balenciaga, and somehow or another Balenciaga thought that collaborating with Crocs would be a great idea. Now, when it first came out, I saw it on the Instagram feed and I thought, oh, this is just a meme or some joke. But actually, come spring 2018, we found out that this wasn't a joke, that they were actually going to release a collab with Crocs. Now, these are not just any Crocs, these are Balenciaga Crocs, which means they're just Crocs with a huge 6-inch platform and a bunch of random shit glued onto it to make it cool. And just because Balenciaga made it, it's cool now. You might ask yourself, how did this bullshit even happen? Let me read you this quote from Georgian creative director of Balenciaga, Gavasalia. I probably messed up the name, but in this quote, he tells you why he wanted to collaborate with Crocs. Try not to vomit. He says, "It's a very innovative shoe. It's light, it's one-piece foam mold, and to me, these kind of techniques and working with these kind of materials is very Balenciaga." Blah. Like, how could you say something that somebody else did is very Balenciaga when they did that, not you? Like, that's just like, this type of people have their head shoved really far up their assholes, and it's really sad. Anyhow, this is a perfect example of how when fashion tries to make something cool just by putting its name on it and modifying one thing about it, and now they say that they're responsible for making this cool. But actually, if you go back and look at Crocs, they've already been cool for doctors, nurses, like rich boarding school kids who walk around campuses, and university students in the United States. They've also been cool for everyday people who just don't want to wear house slippers while they're mopping the floor. So sorry, Balenciaga, you did not make that cool. Get that shit out of here. Next up on the list is one of the most hilarious examples of ugly shoes we have. It's none other than the Skechers Shapeups. Now, Skechers they haven't had the best reputation as a brand. I mean, they were kind of cool in the 90s for kids, and now with the 90s comebacks, a few models from Skechers are cool to wear, but there are models that they were made in the 1990s, and they tried to come back with the Shapeups sometime in the 2000s, and it was an extreme fail, not only visually, but financially. We're gonna get to that. The way they branded the Shapeups is that this sneaker could help you shape your booty. And they used, cleverly, Kim Kardashian and her mother, something Jenner, to promote this product. And the funny thing is that Kim Kardashian doesn't have a real ass. Like, so they're trying to tell you, if you pay $60 for the shoes, you can get an ass like Kim. But in fact, you would have to pay $60,000 for a good doctor and butt implants if you want to ass like Kim. These shoes are not going to create that. And more interestingly is the fact that this whole marketing ploy backfired because the shoes didn't help shape up some ass. They actually gave people lots of back problems and resulted in a $40 million class action lawsuit from people who bought the shoe with claims of injuries. So, Skechers, I'm sorry, but like, don't do that again. Next up on our list, I mean, not every basketball player is meant to have a sneaker. And we've seen that time and time again. Not everyone is a Jordan, not everyone is a, I don't know, Kobe, I don't want to say Kobe. Yeah, you get my point. Like, not everybody's gonna have a successful basketball shoe. And there's a company called Dada, and Dada is a great example of what not to do if you're a basketball player and want a shoe. Now, Dada, the one that made our list is the Dada C4. And Dada also came out with something called the Spinners, the Dada Spinners, which was for Latrell Sprewell. And Latrell Sprewell was famous for driving his cars with a type of rim that spins even when the car stops. They even nicknamed them Sprewells. So they decided to make a sneaker. If you can't afford to drive a car and have spinners, you could have a pair of sneakers with a spinning wheel on them. It doesn't make any sense. Now, let's fast forward to the Dada C4. C4 is a name of an explosive, so these shoes are just supposed to go, but they did not. They did the exact opposite. They imploded. The shoe is really uninspired. It's chunky and bulk and made of cheap material. It also has a huge foil piece on the side that says Webb, named after Chris Webber, the basketball player. And the combination of white and metallic silver is just puke worthy. If you want trash on your feet, go cop yourself a pair. What can we say? It's just like, I don't even know if these things are real. Anyhow, let's move to the next shoe on the list. Next up, we have another shoe from a basketball player, this time Stephon Marbury. And it's really hard to hate on this shoe because Stephon Marbury made these shoes on the premise that he could bring basketball quality shoes with a lower price point, so that kids and families with lower income could afford something of good quality. Now, that's a hard thing to do because the shoes cost $15, and for $15 you probably cannot buy good quality shoes. And the shoes look whack, so I mean, we can't really say much about that. One of the other things that was bad about the whole marketing for this shoe was that Stephon tried to blame Jordan for kids killing each other over the sneakers, and I understand that that's a problem, but I don't think that is Jordan's fault. So I think Stephon tried to use this to market the shoe more. However, I think if you are a young kid and you're in a school where kids are bullying people for their sneakers and you come to school with these, chances are you're probably gonna get bullied by kids wearing Jordans who come from single parent households. It's a really sad reality, guys. Next up on the list, we have the Reebok ice creams. And if you're my age and you remember when these came out, they were pretty cool for us because they were endorsed by Pharrell and Kanye West, but you probably couldn't get your hands on a pair of them because they had a pretty high price point when they came out. But now that we look back at them, the shoes kind of look like the shoes you rent when you go to a bowling alley, and those shoes are usually stinky and worn by hundreds of old men before you've rented them. They also have a sole that reminds me of those orthopedic shoes that my grandpa wears for his bad feet. So I don't know why the shoes were that popular and had a high price point. And later, Ice Cream moved on to collaborate with Adidas to bring us some better silhouettes. So we're thankful that that happened, and we're glad that these sneakers are something of the past. Next up on our list, we have the Nike Flightposites, which came out in 2001. And similar to the Kobe 2s, these are another example of a brand trying to jump into the future and be extra high-tech and futuristic with the shoe, but failing to attract customers. And the thing is, Nike made 3 updates on the shoe from the original Flightposites. However, these updates did not do anything to make the shoe look better. Actually, it looked worse, and the older ones are probably still wearable, but these are totally useless. They have these kind of like pods on the side of them. Kind of look like a alien landing station for a UFO. I'm not really sure what function these shoes have, but you never know what's going to be popular in 10 years. I mean, now dad shoes are a bit popular, and before we thought that was just for our pops. So, you know, maybe in 10 years these are going to be cool and they will come back with these alien-like shoes. But let's move on to the next on our list, which is another alien-like shoe, maybe even worse, and it comes from the one and only Shaquille O'Neal. And oddly, Shaquille O'Neal had a few silhouettes before this shoe that were actually pretty dope. This right here is the Reebok Preacher. Not sure why it's called the Reebok Preacher. And even though the US Olympic Dream Team won the gold medal in 1996, Shaq wore these. And we remember this date, you know, because of the Olympics, but we would like to forget that day when Shaq wore these on the court. What can I say about these? They don't even look real, and I think there's something that we just forgotten about, but I'm here to remind you how ugly these things actually were. The bottom kind of looks like a alien tentacles wrapped around your foot, seeping into your skin. Yeah, we don't like this. And last but not least, we have the most odd and weird and disgusting shoe ever created. This shoe is called the Animatronic Flesh Shoe, and I guess only one of the shoe was made, and it was made by an artist known as Dada Brandeis. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. And basically, the shoe was made in Toronto in 2004, and it was exhibited, so I guess it's kind of an art piece made by this guy. And the shoe was made out of latex rubber cast from the artist's skin. So I guess he put the rubber or latex mold on his skin and kind of looks like pieces of skin. It's tied together, and it's also using some hair from his roommate. We don't know who his roommate was and if the hair is pubic hair or not pubic hair, but it kind of looks like pubic hair, so that's pretty disgusting. And the weirdest thing about the shoe is that it has built-in motors. So during the exhibition, the shoe was kind of like moving randomly, small random movements. So sometimes when the people were watching the shoe at the exhibition, they were shocked and surprised to see the shoe move. It's kind of lifelike. I don't know what the shoe is supposed to represent symbolically, but it does have a Nike check on it, and it's kind of lit. I mean, you tell me what you think. So that was our top 10 ugliest, fuggliest sneakers of all time. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a nice space to vomit if you did, and let us know if we missed anything, if you know any super ugly shoes. And again, all the shoes that we talked about, or all the brands that we talked about, have amazing shoes as well, but we just wanted to focus on the ugly ones. So don't take any offense. That's that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.